This is Skirmish League Live.
Welcome into Skirmish League Live and our breakdown of the current standings for USL Week 3. We are going to take an in-depth look at the match results from last weekend, as well as give our predictions for this Sunday's upcoming squad battles. Joining me for the show today, we have the soon-to-be Yankee Ninj, along with the wonder from down under, Savage. All right, guys, let's begin with a post-mortem on last weekend's games, if we can, starting with this Bronzy Bears winning over Rejects 44-29. Let's start with Ninj. Did you get a chance to check out this game?
Yeah, well, I played in it. Yeah, I played in it, but I ended up playing Medic because I don't know, no one else wanted to. So
You got a front row seat. My apologies.
Yeah, so this was we ended up playing sevens, and I think the big difference we had was M4 showing up. I mean, this guy, like, he hasn't played for probably 2 months, I think. I don't know where he's been, but yeah, he showed up and just broke open kills. I think at one point he got a double law kill. So I mean, he was the big difference to us winning. I think it
looks like he was 11-3 on the game, 3.7 KDR. Along with Shasta, M4 and Shasta together there.
Yeah, I think Shasta had a few. Shasta, he played well. I think he had a few dumb deaths. There was a few pushes where I was next to him and he died too early. And I think Raver did a little bit the same. I mean, but overall, everyone played well. Pandy led that game, actually. Now, it's strange because we have Darth and Kipper both leading for BB, but we seem to be doing better with Pandy. I don't know why. I mean, people just seem to listen more, like, the leading seems to flow. I think we've got a lot of people that haven't really played with Kipper before. Like, I haven't played with Darth, so it's strange. Pandy seems to be, like, the medicine for this squad. But as far as rejects go, these guys, in my opinion, are still the favourite. But if they had Sol and maybe they switched Sov. I mean, Sov went 1-7 that game. I don't know what happened there. He's usually like the one medic in the game that you can rely on not to die. So Sov had a bit of a shock of is he Fax and Sov.
Look at Fairfax at 0-7. I mean, Fax is maybe one of the best medics in the game too. So
yeah, I mean, none of the Marines other than maybe Danny had a bad game. Champion was 6-5. Maybe you could have expected a bit more from him, but I think the medics let them down that game. But I think if they switch Sov to Marine and then Sol comes in as an 8th, these guys are still going to be the favourite. I mean, we could have had Kipper leading and Manu medding, me playing Marine, but I think these guys are still the favourite. Yeah, the medics just let them down, and Pandy's leading seemed to work for our squad that day. So, yeah, it's a good win. It's a good game for us. But
Savage, what's your thoughts on the match, my man?
I wasn't really watching it, but when I did come over and watch it, BB always seemed to be pushing them around the map. They just seem really, really scattered compared to normal. I don't know who leads for them, Dave.
I'm not sure who was leading that game. I didn't get to. We were SBing the entire time during this match, so I only got to pop in my head in every now and then, and it never seemed like Rejects at any point were ever actually in the game. And maybe you can speak to that, Ninj.
They were getting pushed around the map, but like they had Nosekeeper and a couple of other dudes in spec while they're playing Danny. I don't get it. The guy's no Nosekeeper. Let's put it that way.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. Nose? Yeah. I didn't realize he was on the bench for them, actually.
Isn't he? Yeah, he is. Sure of it.
Yeah. Ninja, we have 7 players listed in the game for you. Who is missing here? Who's your 8th player?
I mean, we were missing Darth, Kipper. Let me have a look. Usually, Darth, Kipper. I mean, B-May. We've got a lot. I think the biggest. If we had Kipper, he would have led, obviously, but Kipper doesn't. Kipper's leading. He doesn't seem to try until the playoffs. So, I mean, maybe for this match, preseason's not. I mean, it's not the most important of things because either way, both of these squads are going to make playoffs. But suppose, I mean, probably Kipper we would have had, and maybe me as Marine if Kipper had showed up and medded. And obviously, for ejects, Sol. I mean, if Sol had showed and played Marine, it would have been different. But yeah.
All right,
Most of that end unborn were on the bench.
Yeah,
so two of the best Marines.
So the final score there, 44-29. MVP goes to M41, who apparently had a great game. Shasta had a pretty decent game as far as the kills go, but way to go there, Bronzy Bears. Turning our heads now to the Division versus Foot Clan. The final score on this game was 70-24. Unfortunately, it looks like the majority of Clan's members were either not squad joined at the time or took off before it could be tabulated. I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but we don't have any stats for them.
No, I missed that game, unfortunately. Yeah, I think 666, 0-7, Ripper, the last guy to stay in and get his stats. No, I'm just looking. Crip? Who is Crip, by the way?
Crip is
Mad.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Yeah, well, I mean, this 14-0. Like I said, I didn't see the game, so I mean, 14.
No, I was pushing for. Yeah, I was. I mean, I got to watch the first half of this game and kind of just see what we did and how we played against Foot Clan. We kind of got off to a rocky start, but then picked it up pretty quickly. But I thought Mad definitely had an outstanding game. I thought last season he was the best thing that Hypocrites had. When District was only there half the time, Mad was still averaging 7 or 9 kills a game against you name the squad. That's really difficult to do when you're talking about some of the teams we had last season, Sugar Skulls and whatnot. But I think in general, my squad, the division played pretty well. I don't think Foot Clan is in any kind of position to be measuring against them or anything. They were in disarray. They almost didn't have enough players by the start of the game. And we were about to play 7s at the beginning, but we had 12 people on. It's kind of ridiculous. But we figured it out in the end and got to play 8s. But District didn't have the best game here, but he's been stepping it up in SB. He's playing pretty well. Fausto and Gift working well together. Fausto's been an excellent leader, and I think my squad's coming together quite a bit. We're starting to win some SBs, starting to get find the way we need to play, because Fausto definitely has a different kind of leadership than I think most squads want to play. It's kind of his way all the time. We're always on the aggressive push, but you got to be ready for him to call all hide on the edge of this rock until they come by. I mean, it's kind of a weird. You never really know which way Fausto's going to turn.
Yeah. Hey, can I make a little? I think the division has the best chance of causing upsets this season, and there's players like District. He seems to be playing a lot better at the moment.
The guy's a beast.
Yeah, on Sony, he was probably one of the better players. People seem to forget, I think he played on SFO one season.
No, I think he's a totally underrated Marine completely. I mean,
always
has been.
But then also, surprisingly, Kale as well. I mean, this guy seems to be
a surprise.
Completely
off the top rope.
He seems to be a completely different player to what we've seen in the past seasons, where he's actually been the cause of a lot of losses for different squads. So, and then you mix that with Gift joining, it's made a huge difference. Just because Gift's I put Gift as honestly.
We never. Here's the thing, man. Here's an insight to that. We never had. We were always looking for a light Gift to join. I love that. I hate that his squad dissolved, but I love it at the same time, because it was very fortunate for us, because he plays like an anchor role for us, where we can just send him as the solo underneath us, left or right all the time, and it's just like you're just so confident, because He's the best support player in the game. You got to know this.
He's also really hard to kill in a 1v1. He's really underrated for actual skill. Like he's really, really tough to kill in 1v1s. He's got really good dodge and he's got really good aim. And he's smart too.
Exactly. He wins battles that he has no business winning on 14, 16, 18 HP. It's really great, and it's especially great when you're using it as a solo flank.
Does he mouse him?
No, I don't think he does mouse. But
it just seems as soon as you get up close with him, he's just in a complete league of his own. He just hits you every single time. It's so hard to get away from him.
Yeah, he's a bit like Sol. He's just not as good from long range.
Yeah, definitely short distance. So does this mean that Kale's got more of a chance of winning a ring than winning an MMA match, or? Probably.
I don't know if anyone knows about that.
No comment on any of that.
I don't know, I'd like to see Gift win it. That's the one thing with Gift though, is I don't think he's won a ring yet. I thought on Dave's squad last season that was going to be his chance, but he's
never going to win one on Snakes. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I just hope for Gift that he actually takes this season fairly serious. I know what Gift's like. I hope he takes it fairly seriously, and because he's doing
a good decision sticking away from Double Dragon, you reckon?
Yeah, he did a good job joining this squad, and listen, Tupac, he's own, right? He was really good at SOE too. I played with him on Fax Unit, I think it was, and he was one of the. I think he was like top. I mean, the guy was making like top 10 most seasons, when he was playing in Skirmish League. And then Mad's always been a bit of a pub troll, but he's really skilled. So if you can get like Forsto to play well, Gift, Mad.
I think Fasto's the reason. Yeah, like you're saying, he's probably the reason why they're doing so well as well. Like he seems to get the best out of these dudes.
He's shiesty, man. He does stuff that you don't think he's going to do. He sees it quick. And also, I don't know of a Marine who's leading in the game today who is as good at he is at killing while leading. He's excellent at it.
Yeah, I think Forsto still has. There's an old Forsto that I feel like hasn't really woken up on free infantry. I thought he was one of the better players on Sony, but I think he still has to get the sort of the level he was playing on Sony, kind of like District is now. But I mean, this squad, honestly, I think this squad has the best chance of causing an upset, actually, out of like Rejects, Bronzy Bears, and Double Dragon.
Well, again, the score on this game over Foot Clan, 70-24. MVP for that game was the Gift, who only played half of it, and he had to sit. And I know he was miserable about that. Moving on to next is Infantry and Chill over Double Dragon. The final score of this game was 44-41. MVP, let me go ahead and tell you, was Spark, and that's really he has yet to lose, I think, still in USL, which is great. But this was the best. I think a lot of us have talked about this. This was maybe the best infantry match since free infantry has come back, in my view.
Yeah, I think I'll let Savage start on this one, maybe. I mean, I watched the whole thing, but I want to hear what Savage had to say.
It was really good to play. I think the group of guys that we had there were probably underrated. Probably were expected to get beaten, but that was really, really good. It was really well led by Albert and dude, Killer, Spark, Jane, Victim, pretty well everyone actually. They just went ham. The whole time that match was going on, we were just talking, not yelling, casually talking. And at the end of the day, we were down by one. They were talking some shit, and I don't know. I just think that we were never going to lose that. We wanted it more.
I like all the points you made. It's interesting hearing it from an insider's perspective. I completely agree with you. You guys played like out of body good experience there. All of you guys were like on your best day on Sunday. It was really awesome to watch. And the game went back and forth. It was like a tennis match, and both sides had legitimate shots to where I thought it was locked up. Where at one point I thought Double Dragon just had it. It was done. And then at the other point I was like, Infantry and Chill actually probably is going to be able to pull this out. And then in the end, it comes down to those final seconds, and Savage actually gets specced at one point, and it turns into a 7v8 at probably the most crucial time of the match. And every single person watching the game is sweating bullets, thinking, is that 7v8 going to be the reason that they come back and win this? It was intense.
I'll chime in on this. So, I actually thought the game was over. There was a point, and I want to say it was South Rocks, where, what's this squad? Double Dragon, they went up by, I think it was 1 kill. And I think Iso and Jeff made a comment. They were like, good luck winning now, because, Infantry and Chill were spending most of the squad battle by their base. And then they pushed them, and I think they won. Did you win the team? That fight when you were a kill down, did you win it 7-0, I think, or 8-0?
Yeah. That was a pretty big
one. But it was a strange game, especially, I don't know if Chaos was leading. I don't think he was, because usually Chaos is probably the best leader to break camps. I mean, I honestly thought that, especially with Chaos in, there's no way, especially camping, these guys are gonna win. But, you had like Albert, Killer, and Sav, they kept breaking open fights, and then the medics just seemed to the medics on Infantry and Chill, they seem to live longer than the medics on Double Dragon, like Hearthstone. I'm not sure who that guy is, but he had a
Flair.
1-6,
Yeah,
and then
Flair, he had a really, really bad game. I think he was the one I probably would have pointed out as. I mean, Yosh had the same amount of deaths, though, so you can't just point it out. It's not just him, and we're missing somebody also from the stats that I don't know. I think it was another one that didn't play so high.
I think it was Iso. I don't know how Iso did, but
yeah, but I mean, my point here is that I think the medics were part of the problem probably for Double Dragon.
It seems like the medics are causing a lot of the losses at the moment. In the match against BB and I've forgotten the squad name now. BB and Rejects. Yeah, Rejects. Sov and the other medic had a bad game. So it seems like the medics are causing a bit of a problem, because if you look at Double Dragon's lineup, they've got Chaos, Jeff, Jake, who played really well last season and actually had a really good game this time round. Yoshi, who had a terrible game, and I'm surprised at that. I know he was leading, but Yoshi's usually like a really kind of like passive support marine. So I think,
I don't know.
honestly,
He was pushing out quite a bit. Like he was dying first in the battles. He was catching stuff. Unlike him.
I think Yoshi's a smart guy, and honestly, he's one of my favorite players to play with. But I think his only downfall is he gets frustrated easily. And
he was playing like Jokers are Wild. Maybe he'd had a couple of drinks.
But yeah, I mean, players Albert, Killer, and Savage. I mean, Savage was doing more than people saw. He was getting good angles, and he was picking meds off. And then Albert was picking up kills in hard situations, laws. KW, he had a good game. KW is really good, man. I'd say if you put this guy on a stacked squad, I bet you he'd be up there for winning the Marine Award too.
I totally second that. I think KW probably is the best. He is the equivalent of Fausto on this squad. I think they're very similar in terms of what they bring to the team.
He's really good, man. I'm telling you,
he's also one of those guys that, like, if you call something out, he's just straight onto it. Like, he's always focus firing. Yeah, man, the guy's really, really good.
Yeah, Palm went 2-6, but
he played really well.
Palm didn't play badly. Palm was living a lot. Jane had a good game. I thought Victim did worse than 2 and 4 actually. But Jane seemed to have a really good game too. So
it's just weird on those healing stats. Doesn't it say that Victim got more heals off? But it didn't feel like it.
I think Victim was dying first a lot more, and Jane was living and then dying kind of like afterwards, if that makes sense. But I mean, Jane played well. The two medics at the end of the day, the two medics played better than Water and Flare on Double Dragon. It's probably a lot to do with the reason they won, so
definitely. I think Victim, that's just how good of a mid he is. Even when he's kind of playing badly, he still gets those heals off though.
Completely agreed. All right, next let's go ahead and change directions and look ahead to this coming weekend. For our Sunday preview includes 3 matches. We got Double Dragon versus Bronzy Bears, Foot Clan versus Infantry and Chill, and Rejects versus the Division. I don't want to say that Foot Clan's a foregone conclusion, but I see 2 really great matches in Double Dragons and Bronzy Bears and Rejects versus the Division. I think it matters for playoff contention. What say you, Ninj?
All right, so I'll start with Double Dragon and Bronzy Bears. I think Double Dragon's gonna come back this. I mean, they're playing from home. I think they're gonna come back this week and play. I want to say considerably better than last week, providing that the 2 medics don't have another shitty game. Splitter could be a big difference maker. If Iso was active, he'd be making a big difference on this squad. Jake's playing well, but he's just not active. The biggest problem with this squad is you got like Y, who's really active, and then the rest, like Jared. And where's Jared? Has anyone heard from Jared?
He's with his girlfriend. They're posting photos of their new house and their new appliances, rice cookers and shit.
And then Mecca logs in like once a week now. I think he's busy on Overwatch. Eric, don't really see much of Eric. So, I mean, if they can add Splitter to the lineup from last week and maybe play a little different, then they could.
Are you? What do you think about Kaga moving in as medic? I mean, I think if they had Kaga and Water, that would change their outlook in terms of the medics. But I'm not sure that Flair. I don't know. I mean, he's been a good medic in the past too. I don't want to totally diss him here, but it seems like medic is where they're coming up short right now. Would you disagree with that?
Yeah, I mean, Flair's actually really good. I mean, he's really skilled, but I just don't think he has the experience. I think it's going to take him, if there is another season, it's going to take him this one to play better.
This
almost.
Is his throw off, just to learn. I kind of see that too.
He's clearly skilled, but he just doesn't have match experience. And he's a cool guy, though. He's a really cool guy. I actually really enjoyed playing with him at the start of the season. And but yeah, I think he's going to have a little bit of a rough season. I imagine Jeff's probably going to spec him for Kaga. Kaga's good. I feel like Kaga never got back to the standard that he was playing at on Sony. And
no, as soon as they don't play with each other, like Worms and Jag and those dudes, they just don't. They're not the same.
Yeah, and there's Slob as well. Slob was considered to be one of the best medics on SOE, right? But
Slobko, him and Bronco, just never showed up.
But Slob's another guy. I think they've had such a hard time on Worms with such a good lineup that they've lost a lot of confidence. But you have Water, Kaga, Slob, and Flair. I mean, they're all really good medics, but they need to play better than last week.
Savage, let me ask you, which of these 2 squads is better and why?
I would probably say on current form, they're both lacking to what their potential ability is. I mean, you got Champion, Dave, Fearfix, Leak, Nosekeeper, Solve, Unborn. I mean, you shouldn't really be losing with that lineup, you know. Like, and then the same on Double Dragon to a certain extent. So these two, it should have been the top 3 squads: Bronzy Bears, Double Dragon, and Rejects, all looking pretty good, but. No, I don't know. I just think that probably going on current form, probably Rejects. But I don't know. I don't know why Double Dragon are playing like shit.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what you think, Ninj, but I'm not sure which of these 2 teams is honestly better on paper. Like, I think,
between Double Dragon and Bronzy Bears.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big difference is Double Dragon. You have quite a few people that haven't really played together before. You got like Mecca and Jeff who have an ESO, but then you have like the other good guys like Splitter, Eric, Y, Yoshi. I don't think Yoshi's played with Mecca yet. You've got a load of really good players, probably one of the better lineups, but they've not really all played together before. Whereas, you know, Bronzy Bears, have all played together before for a long time, and me and Kipper are the new additions, and Bime too, but me and Kipper played with them, was it season 4 or 5? I don't know, but we won a ring that season, and there's more chemistry. There's more chemistry on Bronzy Bears. People trust each other more. Like I said, when Pandy leads, it's a different story at the moment, and you got Darth and Kipper, and Pandy just seems to be doing a better job than both of them. But I mean, neither Darth and Kipper, they don't really care. None of them are really active. Kipper logs in
I think Bronzy Bears probably has a slight edge in terms of skill, especially with guys like Raver on there and Kippa in the med department. But I mean, I think you're right. The real difference here is going to be experience, particularly the cohesiveness, the ability of the teams to mesh quicker. And I think Bronzy Bears probably definitely has the edge there. So I'm kind of leaning myself. I mean, we all know who the lineups are probably going to be. It kind of depends on who shows up, to be quite honest. But most likely we can probably pick the lineup. I'm probably saying Bronzy Bears. I think it's probably a close one, maybe 40 to 34 Bronzy Bears. What do you guys think?
It depends if Double Dragon can play better than last week. I think they're probably gonna have a hard time trusting each other, and I think Mecha will be the big. I mentioned earlier, but I think Mecha will be the biggest difference maker. People just listen to him, and he's like a natural leader. So I just want to say, I forgot to mention, we were talking about Bronzy Bears earlier. Who else would play? Because we only played 7 last week. Actually, between the Slash and Slash got a new monitor, and Slash has actually been ranking most squad battles too. So there's also him to add to the addition of our original lineup. So I don't know. I just think Bronzy Bears is maybe. I think Double Dragon will be late blooms this season, but Bronzy Bears right now, everyone's just played together before, and people trust. The biggest difference with this squad is people just trust each other, and everyone's capable of making their own decisions, and everyone's hard to kill. Like Shasta's just hard to kill. He's annoying because people call him passive, but he's just smart and he's hard to kill. And then if M4 shows up and plays anywhere near like last week, people are going to have a hard time, especially with the inactivity on Double Dragon.
So what do you put a number to? What do you think the final score is going to be?
Double Dragon has home. I think Bronzy Bears will win like 40 to 20, if I'm honest with you.
Sav, what do you think?
I'm going to say Double Dragon. I think they're going to come back. I think they're going to be in the finals, especially if Chaos gets active. I think they just need someone to kind of glue them all together. Normally Mecca's doing that because he has no life, but he seems to be out and about. So I don't know. I'm going to say Double Dragon.
Do you have a number? Guesstimate?
36-33.
Cool. Let's turn next to infantry, or it's Foot Clan at home against Infantry and Chill. I mean, Foot Clan. It's amazing that how many players they have, and they almost didn't make it last week to 8. I don't understand you can't. They're practicing though. I mean, they're getting a lot of practice in, and I mean, I don't know. Is Ice going to show up and play for them? Did he play for them this last week?
They'll play worse with him in anyway, so move along.
I think every season there has to be a squad like Foot Clan, and I'm just I mean, at least a lot of these Duer is pretty good actually. Yeah, he's actually pretty good. Duer and Frapp aren't bad. Mike C, does he even play? I'm not even sure if he
I haven't seen him. I think Dub has been one of their better Marines, and Ranger Smith and Solid Snake are both
Ranger Smith's good
super
too.
vets.
Yeah, and Solid Snake's I just find him to be really passive, but he's a good old player with experience. But
Solid Snake's got the most kills for their squad right now.
Yeah.
So 7 or something like that. I can't look at it right now.
But I mean, who leads? Who leads?
That's a great question. I imagine it's probably Babel.
Yeah, I mean the players aren't bad, but they just there's always a squad like Foot Clan and
Chica probably leads the majority of the time. Actually,
I thought
and she's honestly, I'm not just saying this. I think she might be the best player on this team.
Yeah, she might be. Oh no, well, listen, Ranger Smith, Duert, and Frapp, they're all like decent in pub, and you got Solid Snake who's just playing to make up the numbers. He could play on a different squad and do well. Mike C isn't too bad. I remember Mike C was like the medicine for Kipper beating System Error in season 1 when everyone thought Kipper. You guys probably remember that Kipper joined. What did he do? He joined Mike C's squad and then beat Darth and the majority of System Error.
On V2, yeah.
Yeah, and Mike C was like rank 1 up there, but that squad's just going to be a big mess. Like I said, infantry and chill, leadership, players, medics. It's going to be a.
It's going to be a
I mean, if they
bloodbath.
show, the good thing about Foot Clan is at least they have active players. But it's just going to be, they just don't have any leadership, and no one has really, apart from Solid Snake, no one really has any experience. No one really has any. Iceman does a little bit, but no, it's just going to be I think it's just going to be like an angry, messy squad, to be honest. But there always is a squad like Foot Clan, there have to be. So
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with the same score from the division game. I'm probably gonna say 70-24 on this with infantry and chill taking it.
yeah, I'd stick to that score. I'd say like 70-24. I mean, if they keep pushing out, they could even. I think infantry and chill could maybe even get more kills. But yeah, there's just no chance. To be honest, there's no chance. No chance Foot Clan wins that. Infantry and chill are just going to go for the stat pad and try and get some more kills to get higher in the rankings or whatever.
Sav, what do you think the score would be?
I think it's going to be probably a little bit closer. Sometimes with our squad, we don't really maximise the opportunity to play worse squads, probably. So probably about 60-30.
All right, fair assessment. So next up we got Rejects versus the Division. Rejects is at home for this one. I'm not sure which is, I think, the match. Which do you guys think is the match of the week? Double Dragon versus Bronzy Bears or Rejects versus the Division?
I'd say Rejects versus the Division. I think that's going to be close.
Yeah, I'd say Rejects versus Division, but unfortunately Rejects gets home in this one. So
What do you reckon they'll play, KR or EC?
I'm not sure.
I think Dave
maybe
prefers
KR.
EC, doesn't he?
KR's high kills, so I mean the Division they could, if it's not KR, the Division could actually keep it pretty close, I think.
But if they
agree.
pick KR, then we're going to take Titan, and I think that'll be a deciding factor for that. With EC, I think they have both sides are pretty much evenly matched from the beginning, and I think they get the chance to, maybe they have a side preference. But I think personally the match of the week game is actually Double Dragon versus Bronzy Bears, because Double Dragon, if they lose this game, they drop to 1-2. I mean, they're not going to be out of playoffs, but they may end up playing the number 1 seed first game, and nobody likes to go homer. That sucks. So they need to win this, or they at least show that they're coming back together. But I don't know. It's a pretty close game. All 4 of these teams need this game. But yeah, with Rejects in the division, Rejects is I was just going to champion, and he just seemed very disheartened right now. I don't know if that's the way the squad feels, but they're just not as active right now. As we were talking about the medics, Fairfax. I don't know what's going on there. Where is Ketis? Is he on? Is Sav? How did Sav have this 2-6 score? How did that even happen? I need just a video of just Sav to understand how that happened. But I mean, it depends on how much they come together. My team is, Division is coming together pretty quick. I don't know that we're Rejects good yet.
Yeah, I think Reject, like I said earlier, Rejects is going to be. I think if they make Sov, I mean, Sov's a good medic, right? He's probably been the best so far. But I think they have to. I think if they put
This
Sov
is a
into the
conversation
ring,
for another day, but I think Saab may be the best medic to play the game.
yeah,
That's
probably
that's
the
another
best
matter.
player actually as well. Him, probably the best player. He just seems to do everything right. But Sov and if Sov goes Marine and then Sol shows up, then they'll certainly be stronger than last week. I think Danny had a really bad game, and then they spec'd him out for Unborn. Dude, they have really good players, and they're still a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, I guess it comes down to how people get pissed off and how disheartened people get.
Sav?
I agree. I don't know. I don't know. I think that Rejects maybe needs to get their season on track here. I think Palm sent me a message just before saying that if they lose to us and Double Dragon, they can miss the finals. So is Dave a curse? Who knows?
So let's do final score here then. I'm going to say, honestly, think it's going to be down to the wire. I think that Kale's probably going to jump out of the corner too early, get us all killed. We're going to lose by 2 kills. It's going to be like 50-48.
Ouch. All on Kale.
Kale's grown. Kale's changed. This is his season.
What if they're down by 20? Do you reckon he'll dip in like the first seconds?
It's gonna be like Skirmish League. Kale's gonna come from nowhere to Destiny's Sword. He's gonna win the Marina season and feel it. But he doesn't have any spec info from Big Nose, so.
What's your prediction, Ninj?
I think Rejects will take KR, and they got too much experience. I think the division's going to cause some upsets this season, but I think if Rejects takes KR, you got players like Champion and Soul. They're just all so good from distance, and I think Rejects will take it. What the score? I think it'll be like 40-20 again, around that.
Sav?
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be like 35-30 in favour of Rejects.
All right, so we're pretty much unanimous here. We think Bronzy Bears taking game 1, Infantry and Shield taking game 2, and Rejects is taking game 3. That's your predictions for week 3 in Unified Skirmish League. Thanks for listening. Until next time, this has been Skirmish League Live.